Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The HKUST Robotics Team welcomes you all to the annual HKUST Robot Design Contest. The annual Robot Design Contest is held as a way to give the juniors a chance to experience what happens in the robotics team, and it also acts as a way for the robotics team to select potential members for the next year.
The HKUST Robotics Team composed of 3 sub-teams: the Intelligent Racing Team, the Robocon, and the ROV Team. And elements of these 3 sub-teams was imposed on this game environment. For example, the white track of the car navigation is similar to the competition environment of Intelligent Car Racing Team. And the game procedure is similar to the Robocon competition.
We would now like to invite Professor Roger Chen, Associate Provost, on the stage to give the opening speech.
Okay, thank you. It's really my great pleasure to be here, okay, to witness the 15th anniversary of the HKUST Robotics Team. And I was told that this is the 10th time that they are organizing, this contest held in the atrium. I still remember many years ago, we only have one competition under the robotics team, which is the Robocon. But then, since then, over the years, it has been developed into, 3 different groups, as was mentioned, by the MC today. Okay, and also about 10 years ago, it's actually started this contest, okay, for students, around the campus to witness, what the robotic teams has been able to accomplish and done. So, I would say that the HKUST Robotics Team, have demonstrated something that I would say, didn't really happen in HKUST before. It's an exemplary, case of showing how co-curricular activities and also curricular activities can be brought together. Okay, courses or workshops, okay, that where students learn how to put things together, as well as experience in really building robot all the way to compete in competition. Through these activities, students learned a lot. And it's really, showcasing that how students can learn through experience. But technical experience or know-how is only part of the learning achieved in HKUST robotic teams. In fact, they are working together as a team, okay, communicating together to really achieve a common goal that they want to achieve, give them the opportunity to learn how to, build teams, teamwork, as well as interpersonal skills. And these are also very important skills that they need to acquire, in the university. And last but not least, I'm very happy to see that in the robotic teams, we have students from all schools, all countries, many countries around the world. How many countries was there? I forgot. 12 different countries. And also, even though there's still room for improvement in gender diversity, but it's certainly not bad, okay, considering the activities they are doing. So these are basically great things that HKUST robotic teams has been able to achieve over the years, and we are very happy actually to see that it is really celebrating its 10th year anniversary for this contest and 15 years anniversary for the HKUST robotic team. So I would like to ask you to join me in a round of applause to giving the hands to all the students and what they have done, and then what we're going to see in the upcoming competition. So thank you, HKUST robotic team.
Thank you, Professor, for those insightful words. Now, let's take a look at this year's game rules.
Designing and building robots. This year's game rule is inspired by the sports game curling. The competition consists of 2 teams, the red team and the blue team. Each team has 2 robots, the thrower robot and the smart car. On each side of the game field, there is the starting zone, loading zone 1, loading zone 2 and the throwing zone. In the middle, there is the no contact area and the house. The track surrounds the game field. On the track, each side has the smart car starting zone, smart car halt zone, checkpoint line, roadblock and the violation strip. A magnetic line is installed along the middle of the track for magnetic field navigation. The game lasts for 3 minutes and 30 seconds and is divided into 2 parts. The first 1.5 minutes is the auto mode time and the last 2 minutes is the manual mode time. Part 1A. The thrower robot starts at the starting zone, and travels to grab and lift the rack from loading zone 1. The rack contains normal shuttlecocks. Each successful grabbing action will grant 1 point. Then, the robot transports the rack to the throwing zone. Each successful transportation action will grant 2 points. 20 bonus points will be given if the team can demonstrate a continuous grabbing and transportation action during auto mode time. The team can then throw each shuttlecock onto the house, by loading the shuttlecocks automatically into the throwing mechanism, or by the help of game field member. Each shuttlecock that stays on the house at the end of the game counts 5 points, if it is inside the ring, and 10 points, if it is inside the circle. Bonus points of 10 will be given if the team can demonstrate the throwing action during auto mode time. Part 1B starts simultaneously with Part 1A. The smart car starts at smart car starting zone to race along the track automatically, and stops at smart car halt zone. The team obtains 10 points for crossing the checkpoint line, and 5 points for stopping inside smart car halt zone. Loading zone 2 is unlocked, and the game proceeds to the next stage, when the smart car successfully stops inside the smart car halt zone. Part 2A. The thrower robot may continue to throw normal shuttlecocks, or grab special shuttlecocks from loading zone 2 when it is unlocked. The team can only carry 1 special shuttlecock each time. Once the team has at least 1 normal, and 1 special shuttlecock staying on the house for more than 3 seconds, the game ends, and the team achieved it will be the winner immediately. Part 2B. The smart car may try to rerun the track again to obtain more points. It can be done by either performing a backward maneuver to earn 15 points, or by calling a retry to start from smart car starting zone again. The smart car may repeat running the routine to earn more points. Will you strike for the fastest end game time, or will you aim for obtaining the highest points? Work hard and see you at Robot Design Contest 2019.
Now that we've taken a look at the game rules, let's get on with the first round. So the first round is between back-to-back and Octinfinity from the red team and the blue team. Now I'd like to ask, are the judges ready? The 1 minute preparation time begins in 3, 2, 1, go. So it seems like the blue team has already started working and testing whether their smart car is working. And at first, it seems to be working quite well.
Yeah, you can see that they are using the magnetic sensor. So, oh no, they ran out of the track.
Oh.
And then
Whereas the red team seems to be still placing the things in the rack.
they seem to be more focused in the thrower robot than the smart car. I think they are pretty confident with their smart car, right?
Might be, might be. They did do pretty well in the preliminary round that was there on Saturday. So
Okay.
if they could show the same performance, they might even do better this time.
So you'd see the blue team is still trying to figure out what's wrong with their smart car.
Now, 5 seconds left. I would request the teams to step off stage. And preparation time is now over. Can you please step off stage? The game will now begin in 3, 2, 1, start.
You see that they have pressed the button, and after some delay, the car will start working. And let's see if the blue team will fail at the first turn. Okay, blue team has declared retry.
The red team seems to be using the camera, as you can see from the path that they're taking, and it seems fairly well. And they have finished the first checkpoint. Let's see if the stopping works.
Okay, because red team didn't stop at the stopping zone, they have declared the retry.
Yeah.
It seems that the red team, the performance is worse than the preliminary round.
Could be. Probably because of the lighting that you can see on the other side, the reflection that is seen through it. Let's see if their second try can help them get through the thing.
As you can see, red team is actually using the camera. Therefore, they can take the short path, which is the straight road. While blue team, they are using magnetic sensor, they have to take the longer path, which is composed of 3 turns.
The red team seems to have successfully stopped this time. That's quite an interesting feat. seeing the amount of environmental variables that are affecting this competition. The blue team, however, is still doing their smart car.
But they have successfully passed the first turn and failed at the second.
Now, the teams can switch to manual mode. The manual mode has begun.
When the manual mode began, they can use the controller to control the thrower robot, which you can see that the thrower robot should start working now.
And for wireless controller, it seems like the red team is using an app this time, versus I think the blue team plans on using their laptops.
Because the Bluetooth connection would take some time, I believe they are still configuring the Bluetooth.
Yes, that could be the case.
But you can see that both teams the thrower robot has stopped moving. While it might be strange that the red team's thrower robot are moving at the special shuttlecocks.
I think they're now aiming to get the special shuttlecock because they've unlocked the special shuttlecock. So, yeah, it seems to be that case. Although they seem to be struggling a bit in controlling it smoothly. Let's see on the.
But for the blue team, they're still trying to connect the wire. It might be due to some disconnection of the wires.
We can even see that the red team is calling out timely retries so that they do not face too many violations. That could also affect the game in an adverse way.
And you can see that they are approaching the stopping zone again. And let's see if they can succeed this time. Okay, they succeed stopping at the stopping zone the second time already.
That's interesting. Now we just have a mere 15 seconds left. Let's see if the blue team can do anything to catch up to that score. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the game ends. I request all teams to stop working on the robots, and you can now step off stage. Now, we can see that the score currently is 30-0 for back-to-back versus Octa Infinity. If there is no appeal within the next 1 minute appeal time, the red team will win by default. But that truly was quite an interesting game to see, because the weather conditions on this side seem to be quite different as it was on the other side, as we'd seen in the preliminary.
And also you can see that both teams actually didn't touch the shuttlecocks.
Yeah, we expect them to have better performance of auto in the next round. Probably they didn't fill in some variables that were affecting their line sensors in between.
So now the helpers are clearing the shuttlecocks off the track to reset the game field.
Now, I remember that when we saw their performance in the preliminary round, they did quite well. Now let's move on backstage for the interview.
The game field member of Group 8, how are you feeling right now?
A little bit upset because the result was not turned out to be what we expected, because some connection problems and also some air leakage contributed to this failure. But a game is a game, and a loss is a loss, and we will take the loss. And our opponent performed better than us, and then wish them all the luck in the future rounds.
Okay. Can you tell me the most difficult part you faced during the competition?
Most definitely it is the part where debugging and some problems happen in the middle of a round, like just in the round like we performed, and things that went south and then it's over. Yeah.
Thank you, Group 8. Now back to the stage.
It now seems like back-to-back won the previous round. Now let's move on to the next round. The next round is between the red team, that's Omega, versus the blue team, that is Pentagonal Dodecahedron. Now, are the judges ready? Preparation time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
That is an interesting choice for the blue team. You can see that the red team and blue team have different structure of the rank. While the red team seems to be stuffing all the shuttlecocks inside the rank, the blue team has a more organized way of putting the shuttlecocks.
Yeah, it is quite an interesting contraption if you see on the red team side. It is a weird hooking mechanism that ensures that it doesn't sway from side to side all the time, whereas they're using more of a hanger to ensure that the balls are tied onto it. Also, if you see the camera placement on both the cars are quite interesting as well. Like, they seem to be quite much lower than that team. I mean, I think they're using quite different algorithms this time around. So there are around 10 seconds left for the preparation time. Neither of the teams, I think both the teams are pretty confident about the smart car, you know.
You see that the blue team are actually...
The preparation time has now ended. The game will now begin in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So after they press the button, their smart cars will start working. And you see the blue team actually, they travel very fast.
Yeah, they're actually going pretty fast using the camera and have finished the first checkpoint. And they successfully stopped and unlocked the special shuttlecock zone.
I think they are trying to do the backward maneuver. And this time...
The red team also successfully stopped and unlocked the special shuttlecock zone. Let's see if their backward maneuvers are successful. However, this time around, you can see the red team's backward seems to be significantly faster than the blue team.
As their camera is facing forward, their backward maneuver is purely rely on the magnetic sensors.
However, let's see if they can actually stop properly in the stopping zone. That is quite a challenge at times. And the red team has successfully done the backward maneuver as well. That was quite an interesting performance.
Let's see if the blue team can do the same.
The blue team also successfully stopped. The team seem to be going at par now, and the red team is already on to their second maneuver. This competition seems to be quite close, actually.
But you can see the blue team is trying to put their smart car
And the
as
second
forward as
stop
possible.
again from the red team. Although the red team seems to be going quite fast in the magnetic, the blue team always seems to catch up with their speedy camera. The manual mode has actually now started. The teams can now assume manual mode.
As you can see, blue team actually use a gaming controller for their control. Would that help their control to be more smooth?
Yeah, if they're more used to playing games regularly with it, then they'll obviously have more of a chance. And there goes red team's second backward maneuver successfully. The blue team is also inching backwards towards, they seem to have dropped the rack this time.
Yeah, because they put all of their shuttlecock at the top, so their center of gravity is actually very high.
That could be the case. That's actually a pretty interesting observation. And
Well,
the
red
blue
team-
team is almost finishing its backward maneuver, and they seem to have not been able to do it. The red team seems quite consistent in its performance, to be honest. They haven't had any issues finishing either of the maneuvers in either direction. However, both of the manual robots seem to be still moving slowly and haven't picked up the shuttlecock yet.
Yeah. So let's see if the blue team if they would knock off the rack again.
The red team has finally finished their third backward maneuver as well. And that has put them in quite a lead in this competition. Let's see if the blue team can catch up with their manual robot. There seems to be quite an issue grabbing it. However, they seem to have just made it this time. Let's see if the transportation is equally successful.
It seemed to be a tight catch because you see the shuttlecocks are actually swaying away.
If the rack doesn't fall before they go, they might even actually make it. 2, 1. And the game has now ended. I request both the teams to step off stage. That was quite an interesting competition to look at. I mean, both the smart cars were almost at par, the forward and backward. So as we see, the scoring now is 56 to 90 from pentagonal dodecahedron to Omega. If there is no appeal within the next 1 minute, Team Red, Omega will win by default. After seeing the performance of the first two teams, this was quite a refresh, actually. Quite close in competition, and was really interesting to watch, especially in the first few minutes, when both the teams were struggling to finish the smart car and were almost at par. However, later we could see that Omega's superior coding skills in terms of the proficiency they showed in the smart car helped them gain more points in the end. So
actually, you see that the second trial is actually both teams are performing better than the first round.
Yes, that was quite impressive because I remember Omega's performance in the preliminary round that happened on Saturday. And they had quite an issue struggling with the image and processing the lines. I heard last time that they introduced using a hard-code method that used encoders to accurately count how much they had traveled after the checkpoint line. I think they're still following the same and just tune that a bit more. That seems to be the case.
So let's move on to the backstage interview.
With me, I have the game field member of Group 5. So how does it feel right now?
It feels kind of disappointed a bit about the ultrasonic sensor, but it's okay. But we're already happy about the camera that it works.
So what do you think that you could have done better, like in terms of today?
I think the positioning of the ultrasonic sensor.
Like, can you tell us the most difficult part for you to overcome today?
For stopping at the backward part.
And what happened to your grabber robot? Like, I see that it wasn't working properly.
I think it's about the manual mode. He pushed a bit, so yeah, it kind of fell, the rack.
Okay, thank you, Group 5. Now, back to the stage.
So in the previous round, it seems like Omega won with 90 points versus 56, which is quite a bit higher than what the preliminary round achieved. Now let's move on to the next round, which is between the
Tetrahedron and red team tetrahedron and blue team 70 Hello Kitties.
The preparation time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
You can see that actually for the red team, the rack is actually at a similar structure than the last red team.
Actually, it is. But then what's interesting is, although one expects that racks be similar in structure, every team has their own take on their design and structuring. Like you see the blue team, they seem to be using something similar to the blue team in the last round, but then it seems to be quite a bit lower. Let's see if it actually works professionally.
As you can see, they just put one shuttlecock in their rank. So I think they are trying to transport the shuttlecocks one by one.
I think, or it could be that they're quite confident in the performance of their throw robot and intend to finish with one shuttlecock each on the game field. That could work in their favor as well.
Because when you're transporting one shuttlecock, actually your robot will move faster.
True. 3, 2, 1, preparation time has ended. Kindly move off stage. The game will start in 3, 2, 1, begin.
You can see that they're actually trying to put their smart car as close to the starting line as possible.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting approach. I think they wish to neglect the first line so that they can just skip their image processing of it and directly transition to the third checkpoint that is present over here. The red team seems to have made it past the first turn. That's quite interesting.
You can see that the red team, they did not have any camera on their cars. So I think the forward and backward maneuver would be purely rely on the magnetic
I wonder
sensor.
how they plan. I wonder how they plan on stopping properly.
It seems that they are using timer or the encoder because they don't have any image processing.
Yeah, I think the blue team is also trying on using auto mode for controlling their big robot. That is quite an interesting approach as well. I think they're probably the first team to do so. Let's see if they're successful enough in this.
But the blue team isn't very successful with the magnetic sensor. However, they actually performed pretty well in the preliminary round.
Yeah, they did quite well in the preliminary, in my opinion. Like their smart cars seem to be working quite well. And
So
this
the
is-
manual mode will start in 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The manual mode will start now.
I think the red team has successfully done the first forward trial and unlocked the special shuttlecock zone. That's quite interesting.
As you can see that the thrower robot actually cannot walk a straight line, so therefore they are moving it very slowly.
I think the major reason comes from the fact that their robot, although fine for the dimensions, is still very close to the edges. So a slight movement could cause a violation. So they need to take minute steps like this in order to ensure that they move. And blue team also seems to be commencing its movement of the manual robot, although the motors seem to be struggling. The problem with this stage is the motors have to be perfectly tuned so that they move in a similar fashion. A small error in each of the differential could cause a major problem in the control of it.
You can see that the red team has successfully grabbed the rank, and now they are trying to move it towards the loading zone.
Let's see if this team is finally successfully transporting the shuttlecock or not. Seem to be going quite cautiously, actually.
I think you'll be very nervous if you are the controllers.
Yeah, the controller might be feeling quite nervous at this point. And the blue team seems to be advancing quite fast towards the stop zone, the throwing zone.
However, you can see that the robot is actually stuck as the tape has caught the frame.
Yeah, but I think they are almost successful in reaching the throwing zone. Let's see if this will help them gain some more points and win over the red team.
But actually, there is just a few seconds left in the competition. Let's see if they can shoot their shuttlecocks before the game ends.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the game ends. I request the teams to move off stage. The game is now ended. So you can. This was comparatively. It was interesting seeing the performance in the preliminary round. However, the second performance was definitely better. Here, we could see that when the red team was doing their smart car, the blue team was trying to use their manual robot in order to gain more points. That is quite an interesting approach because both the robots have almost an equal weightage in winning the game.
And you can see this time, two teams has actually moved their thrower robot a lot. And they successfully transport the shuttlecocks to the shooting zone.
I think it is the first team to successfully move the shuttlecocks to the throwing zone.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. I think like every round is getting more interesting and more interesting.
Yeah, it's all the efforts that they took in the last 3 months to see what kind of ideas that they came up with. So now let's move backstage for the interview.
With me here, I have the game field member of Group 7. So, how are you feeling right now?
Kind of interesting because I don't expect the thrower robot to work that well actually. Yeah, so when we test not like last night, the algorithm doesn't work very well. Yeah.
Was your performance better than the preliminary rounds?
Yeah, it's better. I mean better.
What do you think was the most difficult part you faced today?
The more difficult part maybe just getting control to the grabbing the ball, because actually that's the first time we successfully grabbed the ball.
You want to say anything to your teammates, like a thanks, anything to your teammates?
Yeah, thank you for hardware team and mechanic team to make such beautiful robot to allow me to do such a beautiful racing. Yeah.
So you are the driver, or your role is for the smart car?
I'm the driver of the thrower robot.
Okay, so thank you, Group 7. Now back to the stage.
Thank you, Ashim. Now, the previous round was won by Team Tetrahedron with points 28-3. Now let's move on to the next round. Are the judges ready? Now preparation time will begin in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So actually this time the red team is team 6 Mark 6. And also the blue team is LG1.
I think LG1 did quite a good performance in the last preliminary round because they seem to be the first team that could closely achieve the throwing of the shuttlecock. I see there's some offstage help going on here. Some offstage help by the team members going on there cheering for their teams.
It's good that the teammates is trying to remind them of what they forgot.
They seem to be working quite efficiently, and they seem to be using two racks, two different racks to ensure that they have more chances of completing this round.
But you can see that actually the center of gravity is quite high. Would they knock off the rack again?
However, the preparation time is going to end soon.
3, 2,
1. The preparation time has now ended. Please step off the game field. The game is going to start in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Okay, so now actually you see the blue team's special shuttlecocks, they have specially tied the string around them.
Yeah, the red team has a weird container actually.
Oh.
And it seems like the blue team has successfully picked up it in auto mode. That is quite an impressive feat. Let's see if they can stop the smart car properly this
But I
time.
think the blue team didn't plan to do anything more on the auto thrower robot.
However, they weren't able to successfully stop. But then, I think because you can violate through the no-enter zone in the auto mode, they're trying to use that in order to stop. So if they collect it during that time, it will be easier for the robot to go through it and come out of it. And then in the manual mode, they can simply just go on to throwing it. Now, all that matters is whether their smart car is able to stop, and then they can progress.
It seemed that this time both teams' smart car is actually able to reach the stopping zone, but unable to stop at the right time.
That could be partly because of the weather conditions being different on either side,
But as you can see, actually both teams didn't have camera on it, so they have to rely on the timer. So
let's see if they can do it this time though. And now the manual mode has commenced. Teams can use a controller to control their manual robots. Let's see if this makes any difference in the scoring so far.
I think blue teams has encountered problem in controlling the robot. Oh, now they are moving. As blue team already get the rack during the auto mode, they are moving a lot faster than the red team.
But the red team seems to have a pretty cool grabbing mechanism. It seems to be more like a drilling machine that pulls things towards itself.
Okay, now the blue team's smart car has successfully stopped at the stopping zone and starting the backward maneuver.
And they also seem to have successfully transported the thing to the throwing zone.
But instead of throwing the shuttlecocks, they're trying to grab the special ones.
That is quite an impressive strategy. I think they're quite confident on their throwing mechanism. There seems to be 1 minute on the clock with the teammates cheering till no end off stage.
You can see that actually blue team's team members are trying to remind them of the time. So it's actually a quite good team. And you can see that the blue team has successfully transported the normal shuttlecock and the special shuttlecock to the shooting zone.
30 seconds left. Let's see if they're the first team successful to throw the shuttlecock in. Oh, and they just missed.
And they're starting to shoot the normal ones.
Let's see if this one works properly. And they have landed the normal shuttlecock.
And they are trying to shoot the second one.
Oh.
I think that
5 seconds left on the clock. 3, 2, 1.
1.
Oh, and they couldn't get another. However, it was quite an interesting performance from the blue team. Now, I request them to stop the robots and move off stage. Can the team stop the robots and move off stage? That was quite an exciting performance. See, it builds a lot of anticipation when you see that a team is so close to achieving the final goal. And with closer scores like those, you even feel more excitement because this is probably the first team that has achieved the throwing of the shuttlecock and the auto mode for the thrower robot.
I think my prediction of that each game is getting more interesting is actually true.
Yes, like you'd often believe that teams would go in a similar fashion, but then they seem to be employing different techniques in every round and trying to beat the other team. They're probably strategizing on the go to see which team does better. Now let's go backstage for the interview.
With me here, I have the winners of the third quarterfinals, my personal favorite, LG1 Group 1. Woo! Sorry. And Umakant, so how are you feeling right now?
It feels great to experience this amazing competition and see these amazing people doing amazing work. Yep.
So your smart car was not working before in the practice round. So what did you do to fix it?
The thing is, our smart car, we didn't have faced this problem before. The problem we had was basically our main board couldn't process the voltage of the battery because it was giving less battery voltage to it. So for that, we implemented a portable NIC source, a power source, to make the voltage up. And now it works.
Okay. Congratulations, LG1. Now back to the stage.
LG1 seems to have won the previous round with 51 to 13 points. That's quite an impressive score. Now let's move on to the next round. Are the judges ready? Are the judges ready? Now preparation time will begin in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Okay, so now the blue team is Omega and the red team is back to back. And it seems that blue team has grabbed the other team's shuttlecock.
It would be quite interesting to see this performance because both the teams were winners in their last round and had quite high scores. The red team even seemed to win the preliminary round. Let's see if Omega can properly stand up against them.
Yeah, because it's now winner to winner. You can see that actually we have seen all the racks and shuttlecock placement before. But let's see if they have got anything new this time.
Both the teams seem quite professional in their approach, seeing how much of tuning they seem to be doing on track, so everything looks fine. There are 10 seconds left to the preparation time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and preparation time ends. The game will now start in 3, 2, 1, begin.
You can see that both teams actually declare retry at the first.
Let's see if the red team can use their camera algorithm professionally this time as well. And it seems like it works fine. The blue team on the counter end goes fast, but is using the magnetic. Let's see which team makes it to the stop zone first.
But red team has declared retry, so they are falling a bit behind blue team.
And the blue team seems to have successfully stopped in the stop zone and unlocked the special shuttlecock.
And they are now starting the backward maneuver. Because both maneuver are using the magnetic sensor, I think they will doing fine.
The beauty of the magnetic sensor is that it is the least affected in all the environmental conditions possible. No amount of sunlight will actually affect anything that would be going on with their code. Now, is red team still continuing with their auto thrower robot? The blue team seems to be quite confident on their smart car, though. It is going quite smoothly.
Yeah. Let's see if the red team will succeed.
The blue team is now going on for for another maneuver, and the consistency seems like they've tuned it quite a bit since their preliminary. Their preliminary, they had strange problems in their stopping in the smart car robot.
Actually, it's quite a tight catch for the blue team.
Manual mode has now started. Teams can commence manual mode.
So let's see if the blue team are going for the special one or the normal one, because they have unlocked the special one already.
But then it is a requirement that both the shuttlecocks be in the house by the time the team ends, so that they can successfully. The red team seems to be struggling quite a bit in stopping the robot. Seems to be quite a big issue this time, although their performance in the first round was quite good. And the blue team seems to have successfully picked the shuttlecocks. Let's see if they can successfully transport it.
In contrast to last time, they tried to shove all their shuttlecocks in their rank, but this time they only do 2. I think that's why their grabbing actions are more successful this time.
It could be the case. Now there are almost just 1 minute remaining to the competition. Let's see which team will triumph. Can the red team catch up to the blue team in that short period of time?
So now the blue team has successfully transfer the
Yes.
shuttlecocks to the shooting zone. So let's see if their shooting actions is successful or not.
This performance has been quite a bit of step up since the preliminary. Many teams are able to complete the smart car with ease and are able to drop it. Now there are around 30 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if the blue team is as successful as the previous team in throwing it.
You can see that the blue team's smart car actually finished all 3 actions and finished them all successfully.
Yes. Now it's up to the throwing. Only 15 seconds left on the clock. Is the blue team going to be successful? Oh, and they just overshot through it. 5 seconds. 4, 3. Oh, and the blue team failed to do it this time.
But they still got a lot of points for shooting action.
The game has now ended. Can I request the teams to quickly move off stage? So, every game is getting more interesting.
Yeah.
Like you see, this team was quite successful in transporting their thrower robot, and their smart car seemed to be quite successful in moving all 3 rounds.
I think they have improved a lot since the last round.
Yes, I remember that in the preliminary round, they had quite a bit of problem in their smart car. It couldn't either stop properly or the backward maneuver seemed to be an issue for them. However, it seemed to be running quite perfectly this time. Actually, kudos to their performance this time around. But red team seemed to be doing quite well in the preliminary. They actually won the preliminary. I don't know what stopped them this time. But now, let's go backstage for the interview.
With me here, I have Group 3, the team that scored the highest point in the quarterfinals. So how are you guys feeling right now?
We're feeling pretty happy that our smart car has been quite consistent and that we have been able to change some features to the thrower robot to be able to grab and launch kind of successfully.
So I see that you have improved from the preliminary round. So what did you change, like in 2 days?
We changed a bit of tuning, speed, and also some algorithms for stopping.
Okay, that was quite an accomplishment. I saw that because that was the highest point. So, like, you have anything to say to your team members?
I'm really very grateful to them for being there with us all the time. Like, as a group, we stay up all night to try and fix the problems that we have, even though sometimes it takes us hours to solve it. Like, we eventually find a way to do it.
Okay. Thank you, Group 3. Now back to the stage.
Omega seemed to have won the previous round with a whopping 103, I suppose. That is quite a big score to achieve. Now let's move on to the next round. Are the judges ready? Preparation time will begin in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So for this round, the red team is tetrahedron and the blue team is LG1.
Let's see if blue team can perform the same way that they did in the previous round. It was quite impressive, them being the first team to actually be able to throw a thing in.
Yeah, I remember the blue team last time actually successfully shoot a shuttlecock into the
That could
goal.
probably be the differentiating factor in both the teams.
Let's see if they could successfully shoot another shuttlecock this time.
There seems to be quite a bit of off-stage support for this team, I would say, getting cues and hints. Quite an interesting set of teamwork skills here. There are 20 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if it's enough time for them to prepare. Again, the contraptions seem to be getting weirder by time. There's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Preparation time has ended. The game will now begin in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Okay, so blue team actually start their smart car earlier than the starting time, so they receive a violation.
The red team seems to be quite confident on their smart car, considering that they've already gone to the end. He isn't following. And the blue team seem to have successfully grabbed the shuttlecocks. Oh, and their maneuvers seem to work fine this time around as well. Let's see if the smart car is the key to finish it. The red team has finished the checkpoint and is heading towards the stopping. Let's see if it works. And the red team has successfully stopped.
Let's see if the blue team can do the same.
The blue team has also successfully started in the stopping zone. Another quite close competition.
You seem that the blue team actually got a very supportive teammates.
The blue team seem to be quite supportive, seeing that they're getting almost everything correct and have picked it automatically. The red team, however, is going for their second forward maneuver. Let's see if this is as successful as the first one. However, seeing the absence of the camera, I wonder what they might be doing back there. Are they hard-coding the entire distance, or are they using encoders?
But actually, it's quite amazing that they can get the timer done. Oh.
It's quite interesting, actually. Oh, although it didn't seem to work this time around. And there's 5 seconds left to manual control. And the manual control can now commence.
Let's
So
see if
the blue team is actually quite a bit ahead of the red team, seeing that they've already grabbed the shuttlecock. And they seem quite confident in their controlling of the shuttlecocks and the robot.
Let's see if they can get more shuttlecocks in the house.
With still a lot of time to remain, they have successfully transported the shuttlecock to the throwing zone.
I think they are still following the strategy that they try to grab all the shuttlecocks to the shooting zone first.
However, we can see that the red team seems to be inching forward in its smart car control. Let's see if the smart car is more successful, or are they more successful in their throwing robot?
It
Quite a
seems
bit
that
of
the time is
coordination.
ticking away. Let's see if they can shoot a special shuttlecock in the house.
Yes, and they seem to have dropped the special shuttlecock in the house as well. Let's see if they're finally successful once again in ending the game.
Because they failed shooting the shuttlecocks in the house last time, they try to get
Just 1 minute left of the game, and the competition seems quite close with 31 to 30 on either teams. Just 1 point difference. And quite a little time. And the blue team seems to have transported everything. All that remains is for them to successfully throw the shuttlecocks in.
Oh, because blue teams have go into the smart car track, they have a
That could
violation.
have set them back quite a bit.
Let's see if they still got enough time to shoot the special shuttlecocks.
However, the blue team needs to do quite a bit more to gain the lead. Although they seem to have a superior control, the red team has inched forward.
Okay, they are trying to
Let's
load
see if
the
they can throw the
shuttlecock.
shuttlecock in. And they have successfully thrown the shuttlecock in. And they've thrown the second shuttlecock in.
Oh, no.
That was such an interesting performance. Last 5 seconds. Now the game has ended. I request the teams to move off stage. I request the teams to quickly move their things off stage. So that was quite an interesting performance. The last 5 seconds is what was the make and break deal for Team
And
Blue.
they successfully shoot the 2 shuttlecocks 2 in a row.
Yes, that was truly interesting. And they seem to be doing this quite well in the previous round, but this time they stepped it up a huge notch. And a lot of team celebration going off stage for this amazing performance today. Now, I would like to invite Professor Tim Wu, Director, Center for Global and Community Engagement, School of Engineering, on stage to say a few words.
So thank you all of you to help us. So today is exciting part because for the 3 months, the students have to learn how to build the robots with the basic knowledge. And more important part is that we would like to give a big pause to all the senior members. They are all the more than 30 volunteers. They work hard to teach and to coach the members to work it out. So you will see the competition is so exciting because you see in the last 2 rounds, it's really, really amazing for that part. They are preparing the final one because we still have the second round of a match and also the champion match. So I really appreciate all the help. Just like what you mentioned, that we have more than different people in here. They have from business school, science school, engineering school, and also they work together in this part. And also this year, we have about 12 countries as nationality students working together. Just like you see, the MC, Ahmed is also a country. Is a, I always remember MKs. And also we have Ashrim at the backstage to do the interview. So I would like to take another appreciation for all of their help. So we give a big pause to all of them. And also I appreciate the judges today, Philip Moore, Kerry Ling, and also Lawi. They also give the judge to about the engine, best engine design. We see a lot of amazing part. I think they will have a headache to find out who will be the winners for the best engine design. So thank you very much. I would like to pass the time to let you enjoy the following competition.
Thank you, Professor Timbu, for those truly insightful words. Now, let's move on to the next round of the competition.
With me here, I have the winner of the semi-final competition, Group 1, LG1. That was a really close call. How are you feeling right now, Binay?
I'm like very nervous right now. That was a very close call. We had like around 7 seconds and we were down by around 10 points, but like we managed to shoot both special shuttlecock and we managed to win by a margin of almost like 15 points. So it was like a very close game, but I'm glad we made it.
Yeah, so do you think you have something to improve when you move towards the final competition to face in the final?
I think like as a person who's maneuvering the throw robot, I should be a bit more careful because actually we could have ended the game, but since we had violation, we had to reset our throw robot. So yeah. For the next round, we're aiming to end the game as soon as possible.
So you are aiming for ending the game. Yeah. You're not gonna play it safe. Okay, that's good. What about for your smart car?
Smart car, right? I know I have confidence in my smart car, but I know that the other team's smart car is pretty good. So right now, I'm just trusting them to open the special zone so that we can end the game as soon as possible.
Okay, congratulations, Group 1. Now, good luck for your final competition. Now back to the stage.
That was quite an interesting performance from Group 1 on scoring 69 points and doing so in the last few seconds. Now let's move on to the second runner-up round. Now, are the judges ready? Preparation time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
For this time, the red team is tetrahedron, and for the blue team is back-to-back.
Yeah, they seem to be doing quite well in the preliminary. However, seems like their second round, they had some problems with their smart car. Let's see if they can tackle that and clinch the second runner-up award. They seem to be quite good. The interesting part is, as the teams are winning, the best teams moving forward, the game just gets more interesting as it goes. Closer calls, as both teams are almost head-to-head in their proficiency, and it's the last few seconds of how one controls the robot proficiently that matters. The red team seems to be quite confident in at least completing the first checkpoint movement. And there's been a quick switch in the team members. Let's see if the change makes a big difference in their control.
But you can see that actually now the red team is fixing the screws of their wheels.
Yes, let's see if the blue team does well as well. 3, 2, 1, and preparation time has ended. Please do not touch the robot. The game begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
As you can see now, the red team is trying to fix their car now because they just fell out of screw.
There seems to be some problem with the structural integrity of the red car's robot. However, the blue car is successfully going through the track using the camera algorithm. They seem to have finished the checkpoint and heading towards the stopping zone. Will it be successful once again? And it did not finish it.
However, the blue team still got a head start than the red team because of their mechanical failure.
The blue team seems to be using an auto mode as well, similar to the blue team last time. Let's see if that is successful, or is it going to stray off track?
Okay, now the red team's smart car is fixed. They are actually trying to go through the row.
The blue team is also trying out their second forward maneuver. However, they were unable to stop the first time. Let's see if that is successful. Again, the control seems to be quite smooth up to this part. There must be a slight error in their calculation for the stopping zone that is affecting them.
But they failed the second time at stopping at the stopping zone.
Now the score is head-to-head with both the teams with equal scores having finished one maneuver of the smart car. Let's see if the thrower robot will bring something more interesting to this competition. And 5 seconds left for manual control. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the teams can commence their manual modes. And
While they are starting the manual, no one is grabbing the controllers for blue team.
the blue team is, however, not able to successfully stop in the stopping zone consistently. Let's see if the red team does any better. However, we can see that there is still one violation in the name of the blue team. If this continues, then the number of violations might be used to determine the winner. And the red team committed a violation as well. So they are quite head-to-head, and with just 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
Actually, during the first round for blue team, they actually successfully stopped at the stopping zone. But this time, they seem to be failing.
Seems to be quite an issue.
Maybe they have changed their code.
However, I feel that they're trying to cater for the reflection of the light. But unfortunately, they can only stand on this side of the stage that actually doesn't help them in covering any of the blemishes that would exist on the track. Let's see if the red team can successfully stop using their hard-coded method. And it failed to do so one more time. Just 40 seconds left to the game, and the scores are still quite tied. However, the red team seem to have committed more violations. Let's see in which direction this game forward. And the red team seems to have gained one more point.
But actually, you can see that the red team is trying to get the shuttlecocks in the shooting zone. If they have successfully transferred the shuttlecocks, they could get more marks for that.
Actually, that is quite true. If the red team can do so in the next 15 seconds, they might be the winner, or the blue team will win just by 1 point.
But actually, time is running out. You got 7 seconds left. Let's see if the red team...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the game has ended. Teams, please step off stage. And it seems like the red team is leading with 11 points, and the blue team is leading with 10 points.
Actually, this was a tight match because the two teams actually got a score difference of 1 point.
Yeah, the thing is, when we initially saw, it was both equally at 10, and then it would be considered that violations would be used as a criteria to determine the winner. However, seeing that the red team finally managed to get 1 extra point over the blue team, that pushed them forward to clinching the runner-up award this time around. Let's see if the next team is successful. Oh, it seems like the tetrahedron team has actually increased in the scoring.
Actually, the red team got more violations.
The red team got more violations, but still managed.
But let's see if that violation would be taken into account after the score adjustment.
Yes. I think the appeal is still going on. I think the appeal has ended, and Tetrahedron has won the previous round with 26 points to 10 points. Now, we would be now going to commence the next round and the final round of this competition. Now we'd like to go backstage for a quick interview.
With me, I have the winners of the semi-final. So how do you feel right now, Anish?
Pretty elated. We've at least made it to the 3rd place. Although we couldn't achieve 1st place, we're still happy.
Okay, so what could you have improved?
I think with the smart car, which I worked on, I think our reverse didn't work just as well. So we didn't try it at all throughout the game. If we would have tried, I think we would have achieved more points in every game.
So you want to say anything to your teammates?
I think they've all worked really well. We've worked overnight yesterday, and I think we've done our best. And yeah.
Okay, congratulations. Now back to the stage.
So it seems like Tetrahedron won the previous round. And the next match is the final round. That will be against two of the top teams. That's Omega on the red side and SG1 on the blue side. Are the judges ready? Then The preparation time will begin in 3, 2, 1. Preparation time begins now.
So this time the blue team is LG1 and the red team is the Omega. And this time they're competing for the championship.
It is quite an interesting thing, seeing that the blue team is quite proficient in throwing their shuttlecocks in. Let's see if they throw a normal and a special to end game quickly. Comparatively, if we see the red team, however, has a bit more successful smart car. So let's see if that helps them gain more points over the other. Now they're doing their final preparations for what will be probably the next 3.5 most important moments in their life, probably. They've been working for the past 3 months, arduously working for this final moment and spending endless nights in the lab so that they can achieve the perfect score. So if this were to be successful, then they have shown that they truly have the skill to do and win this competition.
Yeah, and the preparation time will end in 2, 1.
Preparation time has ended. The game will now start in 3, 2, 1. The game begins.
And the blue teams has received a violation at start.
As they were not on the game field at the start. Again, the blue team is quite confident about their picking up mechanism. Let's see if it can go backward and do as it did in the previous rounds.
From the previous round, the auto mode is actually very successful.
You can see that each team has a completely different idea on which robot to focus on. The red team has successfully done its stopping and is going for the backward. However, the blue team has ensured that it can do the auto mode on the big robot. And the blue team has also stopped. This is quite a close competition. Both teams have started their backward maneuver, and then the big robot might actually be the greater score gainer and changer in these two scenarios.
But you can see
the red team has even successfully completed its backward maneuver. The backward maneuver is actually quite tough, considering the fact that the directional servo is in the front and the motors are in the back. And moving backward in the same motion is quite a difficult thing to tune. However, the red team seem to have mastered that quite well. The blue team seem to be facing some problems regarding movement. Let's see if the manual mode changes the perspective of this game. The second successful forward movement of the red team. If the same promise goes forward, then the red team can even win this competition.
Manual mode start.
Manual mode has started. The teams can both start manual mode. Let's see if the blue team thinks of gaining more points by throwing the normal shuttlecocks and then the special shuttlecocks. Because they have both unlocked the special shuttlecocks, blue team actually has a chance of ending game. I hope that we see something quite a bit interesting in this game.
So now the exciting part has started. Because red team has got more points from their smart car. But if the blue team can successfully shoot the normal and the special shuttlecock into the house, the marks won't matter anymore.
That'll be quite an interesting outcome to this really thrilling game. And they have successfully dropped the special shuttlecock. All that remains is to throw 2 of them in, and the victory is theirs.
It seems that the blue team has some confusion.
And there seems to be 1 minute left to the competition.
Okay, only 1 minute left. Let's see
1
if
minute
the
left
blue
to the
team
competition.
can
With the red team in the lead with a large degree. Let's see if blue team can catch up to it. If they manage to throw both the shuttlecocks in, they can actually end game quickly and end this competition.
Okay, now they're loading the special shuttlecocks.
There's 30 seconds left to this competition. Quite an action-packed competition this is going to be. Let's see. Oh, and they missed the first one. Let's see if they can do in the second trial as well. Oh, and they missed the second trial. Oh, 20 seconds left, and every second matters a lot to the team. There seems to be quite an issue in this competition. Oh, and it just managed to stay, but then it bounced away. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh! And the blue team failed to do an end game. The game has now ended. Can the contestants please stop their robots and move off stage?
It was actually quite a
That was quite an impressive performance by both the teams. A very close call determining the difference between the winner and the loser. You could see that the blue team had almost finished its thrower robot, whereas the red team strategized by ensuring that its smart car moved successfully all the time.
Actually, the blue team has successfully shoot their special shuttlecock and normal shuttlecock into the house previously, but this time they cannot succeed.
Yes, had the same effect occurred in this round as well, the blue team could have successfully won the game by seeing the first ever end game in the entire competition. But that was a very close call. But that was quite a bit expected, seeing the consistent great performance of either of the teams till the rundown till this competition. There is a 1 minute appeal time where you can still appeal.
So it seems that the blue
And we would like to go to Ashim for an interview.
With me here, I have our Dean of Engineering. So, Dean, can you tell us, what do you feel about the competition?
This is so exciting. I think every year, this is the 15 years for the event. Every year is just getting more and more exciting. And seeing especially the first year students spend time day and night and get to the status within just 2 months, I guess, even less than that, is fascinating. And I'm very, very proud of every participant and also the senior students supervising the event. That's, I think, is a flagship activity for our robotics team.
Okay, so did you have any favorite teams today?
No, I think the efforts, the passion they get into is really the most important part. And I can tell the anxiety and also the well-known Murphy's Law. Everybody bring their robot to here believing that's going to work. But the real life is, if something goes wrong, that's the place it's going to be wrong. So don't be disappointed if it's done up to where you have expected. But that's really a most valuable lesson. So do I have favorites? I think our students standing there are all my favorites.
So do you think there was any difference between the last year competition and this year's competition?
No, they're different. I think the rules have been changed. The mentors are different. Students are different. But the spirit remains the same. I think maybe the weather this year is a little bit colder as well. That I don't know how much affected the competition. But I think the spirit really, every year is the event as one of my favorites. And from that angle, things not change much. It's just even up a notch.
So I would like to thank our Dean for supporting us. He's been there for our regional competition, international competition, supporting all the teams. Thank you, Dean. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So that was quite an interesting performance by both the teams. However, an appeal is still underway. And appeals usually have an interesting effect on the team, as it could either have a different outcome than we once previously thought. However, I would commend both the teams on their performance. Like, the red team was really successful in stopping its smart car robot consistently all 3 times. And the same goes to the blue team, who is consistently able to do the auto mode on their manual robot.
Yeah, so if their appeal is successful, they could restart the game again. So actually, then they will have one more chance to try the end game action.
Now we move on to another interview by Professor Timbu.
Hello. Here with me, I have our Professor Timbu. So, Professor, how do you feel about the competition today?
Yeah, I think this time is really exciting, even for the semi-finals. It's all very competitive. So it's really amazing that what they did. And last Saturday, they tried the preliminary round and they worked hard. I think a lot of alumni also see their performance.
So what do you expect from them moving forward when they get in the team? Do you think that the team will perform better this year, like the ROV team or Smart Car or Robocon team? Do you think these juniors that they participated here today, they show some promise and they will perform better in the future?
Yeah,
I think very important that not only technical issue is how the passion is, because just like last year what you did it, all the team have the passions to drive the same goal. So I expect that this year you and also with the other team members work together to fight for the passions and the drive. When you love the robotics, when you love the teams, you take this one as a family, you can work better and better than this year.
So did you have any favorites, like some team that caught your eye, you know, their mechanism, their spirit, or anything like that today?
And I also have a visit to all of them. Different teams have different design. So some of them is one shooting, some of them is using autonomous, some of them is using the others. You see, even for the manual robots and also for the smart car, they offer different strategies. I think that I really appreciate what they did it, and this is a very exciting event. So we hope next year and also other years we can keep going on, and how can we make more exciting event in the coming.
So did you feel like there was any difference between last year's competition and this year? Was there improvement?
And I think that over the years, every time when we do the reflection, just like what you did in this year, and one thing is different that this time we have a backstage interview. This is the first time we try it. And also, I know that you have prepared a lot and questions, and also the students are willing to answer. So I think this is give people that this is a new excitement about interview and the competition. So well done for the organizing the event.
This is actually our 15th year. Are you excited to move forward with the team? So how do you feel like after 15 years being a part of the team, the leader of the team?
And I think that in the past 5 to 6 years, we do the exploring how can we organize the event, how can we make the team is more unions, and how to make the family better. So next 5 years or maybe more, I think the next one is how can we connect all the members together, and then we can move forward, and maybe we can do more if we can apply our engineering knowledge to community service, then it will be wonderful, because we know that robotics team not only doing technicals, also places to do the cases. You find your fans, make friends, and also some of them is working in different 5-year projects and also different. Keep it up.
I would like to thank Professor Tim Wu. He's supported us throughout the way. When I was in Robocon as well, he came to China, to Vietnam with us. He supported us through the journey. Thank you, Professor Tim Wu, for your time. Thank you.
That was quite an interesting turn of events happening. Seems like there is quite a bit of appeal still going on. However, if there is a change in verdict, there might be a rematch that could occur. And it will be quite interesting to watch the game again, to be honest.
Okay, let me share about my experience in the last year's internal. Actually, for my team, we got into the compete for the championship, and we actually won the first round. But the opposing team actually declared an appeal, and they successfully appealed it, and our team actually lose.
So I think the events are becoming a regular trend in the HKUST Robot Design Contest. Appeals happening in the final competition every year. A lot of energy and enthusiasm by either teams to support their team and appeal so that they do not have to retry, or so that they have enough chance to win the competition. Let's see, in the case, if there is a retry, let's see if the red team could possibly redo the same performance that they've shown us in the previous round.
Let's see if the history will repeat again, and then if the blue team will successfully win the rematch and then secure the championship.
Because seeing the performance of the individual team members over the past few months, as we were both mentors to the team members as well, we saw that they've been groomed, they have dedicated so much into this competition that every point that they gain in this competition is a testament to the efforts that they put into it for the past 3 months. And it takes a lot of efforts for them to have such a flawless performance, either whether it be the smart car or the manual robot, whether it be auto or throwing it into it, takes a minute and fine amount of tuning and dedication. And all of this looks like it has finally paid off, and seems like the appeal is still going on, and there is no eventual verdict on it yet.
I think nobody likes the feeling of losing, especially when you already won the match.
It would actually be wrong to call one team a loser or a winner in this case, seeing how flawless their performance has always been in all three stages of the competition. Each team has been able to progress forward just because they were consistent and dedicated enough to ensure that their robots performed the best every time they went through the competition. That is a very key factor in becoming a member of the robotics team. We not only look for good performance, but something that is quite consistent in order to ensure that you can win competitions consistently all the time.
Yeah, and I think in both ways, actually, they have secured a tight bond between their teammates at the end. Because you see the blue teams, like, even though their teammates are not on the stage, they actually trying to shout and remind them about the time, about what procedure they should do. And I think, like, even though if they only get the first runner-up instead of championship, they already win a lot from this internal competition.
Let me share some of my experiences in the robotics team. Seeing how much I derived from this experience in my year, the year before, I see that a lot of dedication has to be gone. Like, once you can ensure that you can qualify a particular criteria, you might have to push for double or triple the amount of effort just to ensure that your robot is just a little more better to outweigh the competition and in order to win. And it becomes quite a grueling task as you come closer to the competition, where minor changes, minor flaws have the biggest effect on the competition.
Yeah.
What do you think? How is your experience?
So my experience was actually not very good because we have very high hope on ourselves, and then we win the championship round, and then they have appeal, and then we lose.
But you must agree that that was quite an interesting turn of events last year. It's always interesting to have things like this that disrupt the normal flow of things and bring some excitement back into the competition. Because however you see, it is still fair to see that both the teams are still competing. There is no disadvantage to one team over the other. If they were able to win the first time, they should be confident enough to win the second time as well. That shows the true confidence and ability of a team to ensure that victory is always theirs, no matter how many times they go through the same competition.
Yeah. And I think both teams have shown consistent performance.
So it looks like the verdict has been decided, and there is going to be a rematch between the two teams for the final position. May I invite the two teams once again onto the stage?
Let's see if their preparation is good enough or not. And I'm actually very excited to see if the blue team can end game this round.
Let's see if they change the strategy of throwing the shuttlecocks, or if they're successful enough to throw one of each and ensure an end game. That could truly triumph over the thrower robot that doesn't work all that well for the red team. However, the red team has their smart car going all too well for them. The amount of confidence that they show in running their smart car consistently is truly commendable.
Yeah, and the red team's smart car actually performed very consistently in the past few rounds. So I think their performance will be roughly the same. However, for the blue team, I think they still got a chance to shoot the shuttlecock into the house.
This match is again going to be a make and break situation for either of the teams. And the excitement continues to build up for the next 3.5 minutes, which were not their last in the previous round, to determine who's going to be the winner again.
Yeah, and now I'm so nervous that I start to get sweat on my palms.
It's not nervousness you feel. It's more about the excitement of seeing two of the toughest teams come together once again and see who is more consistent in winning. Now, are the judges ready?
It seems like the judges are not ready.
Again, quite a bit of excitement. Hope they've charged the batteries, they've filled up the tanks so that they can shoot perfectly. Now, let's move on to the final round of the competition once again. The teams are Omega and LG1 competing once again. The preparation time will now begin in 3, 2, 1, begin. Quite a bit of anticipation leading up to the next 1 minute. In the next 1 minute, as once again they face their arch nemesis in the field. a lot of excitement off stage as the huge crowd is gathered around.
Yeah, you can see that the blue team this time is very serious. You can see that he's trying to ensure that the special shuttlecock are in the best condition for their shooting.
A similar tactic is being used by the red team as they place it so accurately so that they never miss it and are accurately able to stop it.
But actually, you see right there, they are trying to fix some mechanical problems of their thrower robot.
The blue team seem to be successfully doing their smart car in the forward maneuver. Let's see if they can do the same when they compete in the actual competition now.
Let's hope that this time no team would
The 10 seconds left to the most anticipation building moment in these juniors' lives till now. 3, 2, 1, and preparation time has ended. The game will begin in 3, 2, 1, begin. The blue team has already started first, moving their smart car. However, the red team seems to be catching up, as the smart car seems to be quite a bit more smooth than the blue team.
So this time, the blue team's at auto mode trying to grab 2 racks at a time, it seems like.
Or it could possibly mean that their hardcode encoding doesn't seem to work. And the red team, as always, is successful once again in stopping their smart car. That's quite a bit of consistency, seeing that they're able to do both the maneuvers perfectly every time they've participated in this competition.
But then the blue team fails to stop at a stopping zone.
However, the blue team has the thrower robot as a big advantage to them over the red team. The red team fails to accommodate. However, they ensure that they can run the auto mode. Let's see if it works again for them this time.
But they are actually trying to declare retry a few times. And their teammates are trying to remind them that actually they can take the whole rack with them.
Let's see, the red team seems to be very confident in moving their smart car. However, I think they're waiting for manual time in order to use their thrower robot. Quite a bit of anticipation building on the controller of the thrower robot as 10 seconds remain.
3, 2, 1.
And manual mode can now commence. Now it depends on the controllers of either team to ensure that their team is victorious. Quite a bit of anticipation building in the next 2 minutes. Quite a close call for both the teams. Although the red team currently is leading with the more proficient smart car.
Let's see if the blue team can successfully shoot a normal shuttlecock and a special shuttlecock in the remaining 1.5 minutes.
There are 90 seconds left of the competition. A lot of excitement from the offstage team members. And the blue team is going for the second special shuttlecock. They wish to increase the chances of getting their special shuttlecock onto it. Quite an interesting performance from both the teams. Let's see if the red team can still maintain their lead in the next 1 minute. If the blue team manages to throw both their shuttlecocks in, by default they will achieve the end game criteria and win the game.
Now they are trying to adjust their thrower robot to be in the best position of shooting the shuttlecocks.
Let's see if this truly works for them.
Okay, they are trying to load the shuttle.
Let's see if the blue team is successful. There's 35 seconds left. Oh, and they missed the first chance. There's just a few moments left for determining who is the winner. Oh, and the blue team is unable to do it.
It seems that they are trying to get the last special shuttlecock in order to secure their endgame position.
However, 15 seconds are left in this competition and quite a bit of anticipation is building as the red team is at 90 points and the blue team is at 41 points by now. And let's see if they can still get special shuttlecock in. And the game has now ended. The red team has shown its superior proficiency in controlling the smart car and ensure that it is always victorious no matter what the gaming conditions be. That is a true mark of a proficient team.
Okay,
I would now request both the teams to move off stage.
I was so excited for this match, but it seemed that the blue team cannot change the result.
I think what held them back in this round was, again, their smart car code. If it had successfully done all the 3 tries, then the manual robot of the blue team was clearly at a greater advantage, seeing that they could ensure, probably the only team able to ensure that the auto mode worked perfectly every time. Now, had the red team on the other hand, so it seems like we now have a winner with Omega as the grand prize winner of this competition. I would like to congratulate Omega.
No, it's the... So now we will give out the Best Engineering Award.
I would like to request Professor Carrie Ling, Senior Lecturer, Division of Integrative Systems and Design, School of Engineering, on stage to give the award. What's the next one?
Best poster.
Yeah. Now, for the best poster design, I would like to invite Professor Tim Wu, Director, Center for Global and Community Engagement, School of Engineering, to give the award.
So for the Best Poster Award, it goes to Group 8, Infinity.
So for the most cost-effective design award, I would like to invite Professor Philip Mock, Associate Dean, Undergraduate Studies of Engineering, onto the stage. And the winner of the cost-effective award goes to Team 3 Omega once again. And now, let's go forward with the winners, the runner-up, second runner-up of this competition, which is Group 4. For that, I would like to invite Professor Tim Chang, Dean of Engineering, onto stage to give the award. Can we have a big round of applause for Group 4, the second runner-up in the competition, Tetrahedron? I request. Now, for the first runner-up award, I would like to give a big round of applause to LG1 for getting the first runner-up award. Can LG1 please come on stage? Thank you, LG1. That was truly an amazing performance in the game. Now, the anticipation has built to this moment for the team that has won the competition. Group 3 Omega is the winner of this year's HKUST Robot Design Contest. I would like to invite Professor Roger Chang, Associate Provost, to give the award. Can I have Group 3 Omega on the stage, please? Now, that was quite an amazing performance by Omega. Now I'd like to invite all the teams onto the stage, along with the chief guests on stage for a photograph. Can I request all the chief guests to please come on stage for a quick photograph?
Move to the back. Move to the back. We're taking, like standing at the
That was quite a good consistency.
Okay, in the front. Yeah. See? Yes. Do you want to sit at the first arena?
So this would mark the end of the annual HKUST Robot Design Contest this year. It has been quite an interesting match this year, seeing how close the teams were and how proficiently they ensured that they could win the competition consistently. Now, we wish to see a similar performance next year, and till then, we hope that these new recruits join the team and work hard and help the robotics team achieve greater laurels in the next year.
Just sit. Just stay over there. Lie down. Lie down. Right, that side. Violation!